In the annals of true crime, few names evoke the chilling aura and macabre deeds like that of Jaime Osuna. His story is not merely one of criminality but a descent into the darkest recesses of the human psyche, leaving a trail of horror and despair in its wake. Jaime Osuna was born in Mexico in the late 1970s, but it was in the United States where his infamy would be etched into history. Growing up in a troubled household marked by violence and neglect, Osuna's early years were marred by instability and chaos. As he entered adolescence, his path seemed set on a collision course with the law. By the time Osuna reached adulthood, his criminal record was already extensive, dotted with convictions for violent offenses ranging from assault to armed robbery. However, it was his final act of depravity that would cement his name in the annals of infamy. In 2011, Osuna found himself incarcerated at Corcoran State Prison in California, serving a sentence for a litany of violent crimes. It was within the confines of this high-security facility that he committed one of the most heinous acts ever recorded within the California penal system. In a calculated and brutal assault, Osuna savagely murdered his cellmate, Luis Romero, in a manner so depraved that it shocked even the most hardened prison officials. Reports from the scene described a scene of unimaginable horror, with Romero's body mutilated beyond recognition. But Osuna's descent into darkness was far from over. In 2019, while still serving his sentence at Corcoran State Prison, he perpetrated yet another act of unspeakable violence that would send shockwaves through the prison system and beyond. This time, his victim was his own cellmate, 44-year-old Daniel Mendoza. The details of Mendoza's murder are too gruesome to recount in full, but suffice it to say that Osuna's depravity knew no bounds. Mendoza's body was discovered in a state of mutilation so severe that it defied description, a grim testament to the depths of Osuna's depravity. In the wake of these horrific crimes, Jaime Osuna was charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder, along with a slew of additional charges related to the desecration of his victims' bodies. His trial was a spectacle of horror and revulsion, as prosecutors laid bare the full extent of his atrocities for the world to see. Despite his efforts to portray himself as a victim of circumstance, Osuna was ultimately found guilty on all counts and sentenced to death. His incarceration at Corcoran State Prison would be marked by isolation and confinement, as prison officials sought to contain the malevolent force that resided within his soul. But even behind bars, Jaime Osuna's legacy of violence would continue to cast a long shadow. Reports of assaults on guards and fellow inmates would surface with alarming frequency, serving as a grim reminder of the darkness that lurked within his heart. As of the time of this writing, Jaime Osuna remains on death row at San Quentin State Prison, awaiting the ultimate justice for his crimes. But his story serves as more than a cautionary tale of criminality run amok. It is a stark reminder of the capacity for evil that resides within us all. And though his name may fade from memory with the passage of time, the horrors he unleashed will echo through the annals of true crime for generations to come.